Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl, and just messed up my brain together. God damn.
Ain't nobody but
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First and first, in the world of it and racism, we still have to keep on the fight, live our life, share up, be safe, and try to move on. In that note, a lot of people are protesting, peaceful protests in America, in UK, and across the world, and I can see that there's some changes coming to America, coming to people around the world. It's just step by step. This is a comeback look for my Instagram, in the sense that I'm used to creating the norm and everything normal, whereas I can't go outside the box. I can't do something. Ooh, wow, she think she did that. For today's video, I am gonna be sharing you eyeshadow palettes that I regret buying, not using. Maybe some of them, yeah, but I actually regret buying because I really do not know why. Or maybe because back then things were actually different. So follow me. So eyeshadow that I regret buying, I have couple here. Not how many eyeshadow palettes did I even have? I can't count at the moment. So right now I have about 8 eyeshadow palettes that I actually regret buying. Would you believe that? Okay. First one, I'm gonna start with this Shayla S Colourpop Proceed with Caution palette, and this palette was launched just last year, I think so. It's probably a year now. Oh my god, look at how time flies. I bought this palette because I didn't support her with the first palette that came out, and I felt like let me support my fellow black girl with a collaboration. And when I got this palette, I was really disappointed because all of the shadow is so flaky, powdery, and I really do not get the concept really. Sorry, I'm gonna put this in the trash. So that's my number one palette I actually regret buying. It's actually like a collection. I actually bought the collection literally. So next, my second palette that I actually regret buying, and this is also from Colourpop. Literally, when I started makeup, all of my stuff were from Colourpop. It's a good stepping stone, or starting point from Colourpop. I appreciate it and everything, but right now I just feel like Colourpop are just doing too much. They're just overdoing it now. Every week coming out with different palette: orange palette, mango palette, pineapple palette. Bloody hell, the old palette that already be out. What do you want me to do with it? Should I eat it? Should I have a stack of I'm so grateful that I don't have those loads of palette like I see a lot of influencers have, and literally in 2 years, 3 years they don't even touch it or open it. Honestly, because brands like that really do not have a strategy. They just decide to create because they want to be the first to do everything. So that's what took me off Colourpop really. This is also a collaboration with I Love Sarah E, and this is called the Saucy palette. And honestly, I can't remember when I bought this palette. I think, and I've only touched this palette about twice ever since I got this palette. One is for review, to show okay, this is what I like about it. The other is to just try it in everyday look if it's something I'll be using all the time. And apart from that, I never went back to this palette. This came with just 4 eyeshadow colors. They're beautiful, they're lovely, they're not too pigmented, so it's more stable and less powdery than this, and more blendable as well. Really, the reason why I regret buying it because I only use it twice. Two, I feel like the concept of having a bulky palette is just too much, too heavy. Yes, it is nice, portable, easy to go, but just 4 shades. I can just easily depan this eyeshadow and chuck away this base, then I can call it, yes, I'm going to keep this palette. With the way the eyeshadow palette is bulky, it kind of make me just feel like this is just a waste. It actually takes space in my makeup drawer because it's so large. This is the size of 2 eyeshadow palette together. But yeah, that's why I actually regret buying this, really. So my number 3 eyeshadow palette that I regret buying is the Revolution Makeup Revolution London. This is the Foy Frenzy Intense Metallic Cream Powder Shadow. I think this is £10. I spent £10 in this palette, and it was good at first. At second, I did not know what happened. In fact, I didn't even get to use this palette. I've had it for just over a year now, and I haven't ever touched, swatch, open this palette. Why? Tell me why. I like it. The color attracts me. That's what I kind of like when I want to go for a metallic look, you know, shimmer look. I swatched it in the shop. It's so beautiful. Oh, I don't even have wipe with me because I would have swatched it for you guys. I'm still going to do that anyway. So I swatched this palette in the shop. So beautiful and gorgeous. Oh, look at that. This is what actually attracted me to this palette. Getting home, doing my makeup. Okay, I'm going to go for a goldish look. Apply this shade with brush. This shadow did not transfer to my eyelid. I swear to God, I did not see anything. You know, this as it's shiny here, I could not see on my eyelid, and I think probably is maybe the eyeshadow palette is best with the hand. But come on, who has the time to be using hands on their bloody eyeshadow palette all the time when you just want to quickly get out of the door? So even if I want to use it for other client makeup, I have to use my hand on their eyelid, and I'm the type that I will try as much as possible to use every tools available to me to give you a nice look instead of using my hand to still ruin what the beauty I've done. So I actually regret buying this, and this was £10. The money is not that a lot, but just because I haven't used it, and I know it's gonna benefit someone else, but it goes in the bin too. So next palette I actually regret buying, and this is my number 4 palette. You can actually call it 4-in-1 palette. This is my biggest regret ever. This is the Jacky Eel X Morphe eyeshadow palettes. It's called the BOUT. Yeah, I remember when she came with the first palette. After 2 years, I loved that palette so much. I used it. Yeah, I'm bored of it now. So after 2 years, she came out with the, oh, okay, I'm gonna come out with the remaining colors of called the BOUT palette. Okay, came out in 4 individual sizes. I love the concept of having an individual palette on the go, especially, you know, having a bulky palette. This is really good and handy. I think it comes with a mirror. Yeah. But I've only used this once, and that time is for me to film a review about this palette. I think so, once or twice, I can't remember. It's just for me to film a review for this palette, and ever since then I've not even wanted to open this palette in and even use it on a normal day without filming. Some of the shades are very repetitive. Some of the shades I have to keep going back to open it to actually use it, you know, especially if you want to, okay, for example, if I want to use this, okay, this Dark Magic palette, it's nice colors, very dark theme. Oh, I go on it, but then I want to have a colorful crease color, which is in this palette as well, which is the the alarm palette. I'm going back and forth just to use the 2 bloody palette together, but I like everything in one, so I know what I'm doing and what I want to do. So most of the shadow were actually patchy, no pigment or whatsoever. When blending, it transfer, like it's even removing when you're actually blending it. You have to keep on packing it, take all your time, literally do all the work before the pigment or the shadow can stay on your eyelid, especially if you have hooded eyes actually. So this just put me off, and I actually did not use this palette ever since then. Yeah, I just actually regret buying this, and all this 4 palette cost £45 or £48 if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, really? And actually bought this palette a year or 6 months after it came out. I waste my money on this garbage. I end up not using it still. So there it goes in the bin, or most likely things that I might say goes in the bin goes in my makeup kit where I use for other people. Like I might not use it for myself, but I use it for other people that it works. for, or I might use it as a gift, or I might even use it if I'm trying to teach people how to make up, literally, because I cannot just put it in the bin. You can't just recycle this. You know, you give it out until it's finished. And because I've never touched none of them for a while, or even at all, doesn't look as if it's gonna finish anytime soon. There's a lot of palette that have come and go. In fact, she just even released another palette few months ago. Is it the Jacky Eel palette part 2? This is the VOT, but that one's the part 2. Just like similar with the first one, and I think I like the second one, but I'm not gonna buy it. Sorry. So that's my fourth palette I actually regret buying, eyeshadow palette. So my fifth palette I regret buying. This is the Morphe. This was actually when Morphe just actually came out and very popular on social media, makeup people timeline, and this was their old packaging. I felt like obviously left out, and even if I didn't have large eyeshadow palettes that have various eyeshadows to choose from, so I feel like, you know, let me buy Morphe and this will actually give me what I want instead of me buy something else. So I bought the 2 combo, which is this is the Morphe 35O Morphe 35O shimmer. They have the 35O matte. If you even type it on Google, there's no beauty influencers that does not know about Morphe 35O. This was the palette of the palette that year. Still of the palette for beginners and whatever, and people favorite, really. I'm not saying I hate the palette, really. That's not why I regret buying it. I regret buying it because this is the old shimmer palette. So I love the matte shades of this palette. So the shimmer is the same thing, the same color, the same pattern as the matte palette. So when you're applying the matte, you can want to go matchy with the shimmer. And ever since I have it, I rarely use it. Now a lot of makeup brand has come out with mixture of shimmer and matte palette in one. So literally I did not need to have a whole palette of shimmer, another palette of matte. So that's my fifth eyeshadow palette I actually regret buying. So my number 6 eyeshadow palette I regret buying is the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. See, this palette I actually hold, man, and as a makeup lover like me, I barely touch none of them. None of them. And I see people, they wear makeup and their palette is, in fact, they're deep in the pan. So the Androgyny palette from Jeffree Star, this was a second or third palette he ever came out with a few years ago. Very lovely, really. I really can't complain about it. The only difference is it was expensive when I bought it. There's nothing of Jeffree Star cosmetic makeup that is cheap. Clearly not cheap. So this was probably £40 or so from Beauty Bay a few years ago, and I didn't regret buying it, but I kind of regret buying it because I've not used it ever since then. It's not nobody's fault. It's not the palette fault that I haven't used it. Probably made my fault, but again, it's all brand fault because they're coming out with so lovely, beautiful palette that. Anyway, even Jeffree Star himself, he comes out with a lot of palette over the years. Even now, I can't even keep up or count. Some of them are better than this, different formula, different shade, which attracts me. I just told myself, no, you ain't buying no other palette from Jeffree Star, literally, unless you're being gifted with it. It's not that I don't want to buy or purchase or help this brand out, but at the end of the day, how many highs do I have to put all these shadows on my eyes? Literally every day. Everybody is busy, okay? Time is money, so I have time to put palette A today, time to put palette B tomorrow. No, and no space to keep them because I'm outgrowing my space I have for my palette. My 7th eyeshadow palette I regret buying. I have this palette since about towards December last year. Yeah, so I bought this last year, to be precise. This is the Anastasia Beverly. So that's where I tried to purchase this last year from. Again, I think I bought this from Cult Beauty, and this palette is no joke. It's expensive. It's probably about £45 or maybe £48 for this freaking palette. I like the packaging, very nice, concept, good. The reason I regret buying this because I only use it only twice One is to do a review, other is just a way as a normal everyday look. And apart from that, I haven't gone back to use this palette because I just feel like most of this shade I've either used it before, come across it before, played with it before. Like, I'm not really keen to use it all the time, so like it's not really like something like, oh, grab for that Jacky Eel palette, literally. So I just feel like I just bought this to take space in my makeup drawer. That's the only thing, literally, because I haven't opened it on the till now for like twice I've used it. I love Jacky Eel. I love Anastasia, Beverly. Their produce and makeup is amazing, but there's some things that you don't need to spend your money on. You don't need to buy, because literally in a few months down the line they're gonna come out with similar colors and shade. That's the only thing that's pissing me off about eyeshadow palette right now. Finally, my last palette that I regret buying. I think this is my 8th palette. So this is the Morphe S James Charles palette, and this is the new version of Morphe packaging of their palette, engraved matte packaging. So when I buy, again, all of this eyeshadow, they're not cheap, guys. They are freaking expensive. This is around £40. I don't even know. I can't even put the money together. Literally, it's just annoying me if I have to think about it. Anyway, coming to this. Reason why I regret buying this. I love James Charles. Nah, sorry. Let's not go love. I like James Charles as a person, as a good content creator and a YouTuber. I don't know him personally, so I'll leave it there. So I love the concept when they came out with this shadow, because I always wanted to have a palette that has a rainbow theme color, rainbow looking, everything in one. Like I said, you don't need to be going to the shimmer palette or the matte palette, because this comes with the matte palette, comes with the shimmer palette, come with a neutral palette. You can use everything at once. So you ask me, so why don't you like it? The reason is, just look at the way I'm holding it. It's almost taking the whole screen, and my hand is literally heavy me. Very big. I just think it's the whole palette thing, size thing is not necessary. But mind you, they did come out with the smaller version of this as at this year, I guess so, if I'm wrong. I use this quite often when I'm trying to do colorful look. Like if I want to go for something like this is the shadow I normally tend to go for, because it has everything. Yeah, the only reason I probably regret buying this is just the size. It's too expensive for that matter, and why do I have to wait probably another year for you to create a half a version of this? Like, so you just literally make me waste my money, honestly. Why do I need to buy every palette when it's being launched? I don't need to. Even if I'm a influencer or a reviewer or whatever, I still do not need to unless I actually need it. Because few years down the line, few months down the line, I will regret buying this palette, honestly. Palette is not something I would like to be buying all the time, because everything is repetitive. It's everywhere. It's been done before. It's been created before. There's nothing that has not been done. I don't think there's no colors that have not been done before. And also, if you're coming out with palette you want people to buy, where you know this palette is, you're not the first person coming out with these colors or shade, you don't have to increase your price, because they are pricey and high. If I have to put all this palette together of how much I spent, I'm looking at about £200 and almost to £300, and that's a lot of money. So palette ain't doing it. So these are my top 8 eyeshadow palettes that I actually regret buying. So guys, if you did enjoy this video and you want me to actually do another video of another product I actually regret buying or love buying, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't still like it, well, still give it a thumbs up, because I really appreciate it. You can share this video to any of your social media accounts. Thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Can you kindly please just click on that red button to subscribe, and you probably will receive a notification from me whenever I upload any video if you turn that bell on. And until then guys, please be safe, stay at home, do whatever you gotta do, work from home, protect safely, and don't be a racist. From me to you, one love.